Let's discuss the motion of electrons in a conductor. We know conductor is a material which possesses free electrons, and those free electrons are in random motion due to thermal energy at room temperature. So this is a conductor and this is the path of an electron at room temperature. So it begins here, moves to this point, follows the path and comes back to the same position. Similar to this electron, there are many free electrons in this copper conductor and they move in random motion, but there is no net flow of charge from one end to the other end, which means at room temperature due to thermal energy, electrons are in random motion, but there is no net flow of electrons from one end to the other end. Now, what do we need for the net flow of electrons from one end to the other end? We need an electric field. So let's see what happens when electric field is set up inside the conductor and discuss the motion of electrons. Let's say an electric field is set up inside the conductor and see what happens to the motion of electrons. So this is the direction in which I have set up an electric field inside the conductor. Electric field exerts force on an electron. So let's say here is an electron. The charge of the electron is negative. Hence, the force acting on the electron is in the opposite direction, and the force is F is equal to electric field into charge. So the direction of force on this electron is opposite to the direction of electric field. So electrons try to move in this direction. But this conductor contains not only free electrons but also positive ions. So this electron or this free electron is being acted upon by force in this direction, so will not move in a straight line and reach the end of conductor, but rather it collides with the other electrons and also the positive ions. Hence, the path of this electron would be something like this, and it finally reaches this end. So now see what happened when electric field is applied on a conductor. This electron, after colliding with many positive ions, finally reached the other end, and hence there is net flow of charge. So that means there is current in this conductor. So in order to have current in the conductor, an electric field must be set up in a conductor. Due to that electric field, an electron is acted upon by a force, is pulled to the other end by making collisions with the different positive ions, and hence this is the path of the electron. Now let's see what is drift velocity. We know that an electron in a conductor, when set up an electric field, moves from one end to the other end, but not in a straight line. It undergoes many collisions with positive ions and neighboring electrons, but at the end it reaches the other end of the conductor. So this is the typical path of an electron. Now see, when electric field is applied on an electron, the force acts on the electron which tries to pull to the other end, and as a result of that, the electron gets drifted. It is not moving in a straight line. It gets drifted and finally reaches the other end. So the velocity or the speed with which an electron gets drifted in a conductor is called drift velocity or drift speed. This is the path of the electron. We know the force acting on the electron is F is equal to E into E, which is opposite to the direction of electric field. We can write F is equal to ma from Newton's second law. So ma is equal to E electric field and E is charge of the electron, and hence the acceleration of the electron is E upon m. So this is the acceleration of the electron in a conductor when external field E is set up or applied to it. The acceleration of the electron was A is equal to E upon m. So this was the acceleration of the electron due to the external electric field set up in a conductor. Now, let us apply V is equal to U plus AT. We can do this because acceleration of the electron is constant. We know that the path of electron is something like this as it drifts in a conductor. So this is the path in which electron moves. So here is the electron and it reaches here in a straight line, and here what the collision occurs. So between these two collisions it travels some path, and that path is called mean free path. So mean free path is the path traveled by electron between any two collisions, and the time taken between these two paths, let's say it is time t or delta t. So let us apply that here. Then you would get the velocity as it reaches this point is v is equal to u plus a is e upon m into delta t. Let's try and analyze the equation. So v is the final velocity, u is initial velocity, this is the acceleration and time delta t. Now what I am going to do this is making average of each and every term. So when you make average of this final velocity, that turns out to be drift velocity. So the final velocity reached or gained by the electron after time is called drift velocity, and u is the initial velocity of random motion of the electron. As I told you that because of random motion there is no net flow of charge, hence the average of this term becomes 0. So this is 0 plus E by m into average of this time is indicated with tau, and the tau is called relaxation time. So tau relaxation time is the time taken between any two collisions, and hence we come across the equation E upon m into tau. This is very important equation. The drift speed depends on the relaxation time tau. Let's see the relation between drift velocity and electric current in a conductor. We have already defined these two terms. Electric current is the rate of flow of charge, and drift velocity is the velocity with which electron gets drifted in a conductor when external field is applied. Let an external field E is applied to a conductor, and electron gets drifted in a direction opposite to the direction of electric field because electron is negatively charged. Let's say this conductor has got electron density n. N is a number of free electrons, not number of electrons, number of free electrons per unit volume. And L is length of the conductor, and A is area of cross section of the conductor. By definition, I is, we know it is Q upon T or delta Q upon delta T. So current is the rate of flow of charge. So delta Q is a charge which flows from one end to the other end. We know that this conductor has got free electrons, and the total number of free electrons in the conductor is, see, the electron density is n, which is number of free electrons per unit volume. Then the total number of electrons would be n into volume of the conductor. So the current I is delta Q is nothing but the total number of electrons, which is n into its volume. What is volume of this cylindrical shaped wire? Area into length. So NaL is giving you total number of electrons. And what is the total charge of the electron? Total number of electrons into charge of the electron upon time delta T. So this is the electric current in a conductor. Now I can write I is equal to N E A, and look at this term L upon delta T. What is L upon delta T? L is the average distance from this end to this end, and delta T is average time taken. And what do we call this distance by time? Simply drift velocity or drift speed. So this is NEAVD. So the relation between electric current and drift velocity is I is equal to NEAVD, where N is number of free electrons per unit volume, E is charge of the electron, A is area of cross section and Vd is drift velocity. So this was the electric field set up in a conductor, and the electron moves from one end to the other end. So the ordered flow of electrons or a steady flow of electrons gives you electric current. Not just random motion of electrons is electric current, but the motion of electrons from one end to the other end is only electric current. So the electron has moved from one end to the other end and hence giving you the current in a conductor. So if L is the length of the conductor, electron has moved from this end to this end. That means this is at higher potential and this is at lower potential. We know charge always moves from higher potential to lower potential. Since this is negative charge, it moves from lower potential to higher potential. Let's say V is the potential difference between these two ends. Then the relation between potential difference, electric field and length of the conductor is V is equal to E into L. So the relation between V potential difference, E electric field and L length is V is equal to EL. We have got two relations. One is the drift velocity is Vd is equal to E upon M into tau, where tau was relaxation time, E was electric field, E is charge of the electron and M is mass of the electron. The other relation is I is equal to NEA Vd. So we have got these two relations. Let us substitute this Vd here. Then we get the electric current I is equal to NEA, and what's Vd? E upon M into tau. Then you get E is equal to NE square A into E into tau upon M. So what is E here? Electric field. Just put E is equal to V upon L and continue this equation. Then I is equal to NE square A. E is V upon L, so this is V upon ML into tau. So this was the equation. I was discussing about. NE square AV tau upon ML. So I can rewrite this equation as I is equal to NE square A tau upon ML into V. So this can also be written as V is equal to ML upon NE square A tau into I. Now look at this equation clearly. What is M? Mass of the electron. L, length of the conductor. N, electron density. E, charge of the electron. A, area of cross section of the electron. Tau is relaxation time. All these terms depend on conductor. So we can consider all this term as a single constant, and that single constant is called as capital R, which leads to resistance of the conductor. So V is equal to Ri, in other way written as V is equal to IR. You know what this is, right? This is Ohm's law. So what we're doing all the time is deriving the conclusion to Ohm's law. So V is equal to IR. What is V? Potential difference across the conductor. I is current and R is resistance of the conductor. Let us define Ohm's law clearly. Ohm's law says that the potential difference across the conductor is directly proportional to the strength of electric current. Then you can write V is equal to IR, where R is called the resistance of the conductor. And on what factors does the resistance of conductor depends? Mass of the electron, length, N, E, A and tau.